Let's begin with a question that most people never slow down long enough to ask. Are you living by design or by default? I used to believe I was living intentionally because I had goals and I had a checklist. And I'm like, okay, if I'm writing down my goals and having a checklist and getting everything done, then I must be living intentionally. And to a certain degree, yes. But if I'm being honest, I really wasn't choosing my life. I was just reacting to it. And that's what happens when we live on autopilot. In today's episode, I'm guiding you through a powerful step-by-step journey to really help you break out of that cycle. We're going deep into the neuroscience of habit change, the power of quantum physics, and the wisdom of the divine feminine. This isn't about surface level change. It's about remembering the incredible power that you have to actually live the life that you want. Especially us Latinos, we have for generations been conditioned to value doing over being, right? To always be producing and really adapting the hustle culture. Why? Because it's survival mode, right? We always have to constantly be striving and achieving and doing and producing. We are the worker bees. And I remember when my psychologist said, hey, you really embody the energy of a worker bee. That's who you are. And I take a lot of pride in that because it's been very beneficial in my life. And I love being a worker bee, but there came a point in my life where I had to shift from the overachieving or the hustle culture and really value listening to my intuition, honoring the cycles of nature, and listening to the deep knowing within me, because this is where true intention lives, in the quiet moments of alignment before we take action. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that by the age of 35, 95% of who we are is a set of memorized habits, behaviors, and emotional reactions. So let's break it down. You wake up and you immediately reach for your phone. You start the day by thinking the same stressful thoughts, the same worries that you have, and you feel the same emotions. And that causes us to take the same actions. And then we wonder why nothing around us is changing. And it's not your fault, right? Our brain loves things that are familiar, even if it's uncomfortable and even if it's not familiar to us, right? But it's also why creating lasting change is really challenging, because the key here is to bring awareness to these habits and these emotional reactions that we're having. The key to breaking free is awareness. So I want you to try this very simple practice today. Just spend one full day just noticing your automatic habits. From the moment that you wake up to the moment that you close your eyes, I really want you to ask yourself, when you find yourself in a loop, am I choosing this, or am I reacting, or am I repeating something? This is where true intentional living begins, with radical awareness of the unconscious patterns that are shaping and directing our life. I also wanted to talk about understanding frequency and the science behind energy, because it's so much of who we are, if not everything that makes us who we are. But let's kind of break it down. This is how I understood it, right? We often hear the word frequency and it's thrown around. It's a buzzword for sure in this community and every community. And sometimes it gets a really bad connotation. It's like something evil, right? When we talk about energy. And when you hear people say energy, it's like you're into the woo-woo, you're into the new age. But the reality is that that's the literal science of who we are, right? So in science, frequency is just how often something is vibrating. And at the atomic level, everything, including you and I and this microphone, the table, and everything around us, is vibrating. And this also includes our thoughts and our emotions and even our physical body. We all carry this measurable energetic frequency. Emotions like joy and love and gratitude, these create a high coherence in our frequency. And emotions like fear and anger and shame lower our frequency, and they create internal chaos. The Heart Math Institute has found that when you feel gratitude, or love, your heart and your brain enter into a state of coherence. Your body literally starts working together, your nervous system regulates, your thinking becomes more clearer. So when people say raise your frequency, it's not about faking positivity. It's about learning to regulate your emotions and shift your internal state consciously. And this is why gratitude is such a powerful practice. Even 60 seconds of true gratitude can elevate your frequency and start to shift the energy that you're radiating into the world. And let's clarify what we want and how to start creating it. I think this is a really exciting part. Now, here's the truth that most people avoid. You can't live intentionally even if you know what you want. And I'm not talking about vague ideas like, I just want to be happy. I mean, what does it feel? What does happiness look like for you? What are the details in your life, right? Where are you waking up? Who's with you? How do you feel when you move throughout your day? Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches this simple but very powerful formula. A clear intention plus an elevated emotion equals a new reality. Your thoughts send out an electrical signal. Your emotions create the magnetic pull, and together they form this energetic field that you project. Then this influences your experiences, right? I want you to try this right now. Close your eyes and visualize a scene from your ideal future. Be specific. Feel the gratitude as if it's already something that you have. And this is not the manifestation talk. We're not doing manifestation talk. It's literally you rewiring your brain and your body for a new reality. And that is what quantum physics also does. So why does quantum physics matter? Now, at the quantum level, reality isn't as solid as or fixed as we think it is. Science shows us that particles exist in multiple places at once. Is that not insane? Their behavior changes depending on who's observing them. Your reality, if you constantly focus on your problems, you're just going to keep seeing more of those problems. But when you begin to place your attention on possibility, you literally open yourself up to new outcomes. This is why intentional living works. Your focus, your thoughts, and your emotions influence what becomes possible for you. Now let's clear up a big misconception. A quantum leap isn't about an overnight success or skipping all the hard work. In science, a quantum leap happens when an electron suddenly jumps to a higher state. But that leap does not happen unless it has a buildup of energy first. And the same is true for you. All those small changes, the new thoughts, the healthier habits, the moments that you choose to be more conscious and to build different, they all create momentum. And then one day, suddenly out of nowhere, everything just changes, right? So you guys, it's so hard to even pinpoint to that moment. But that's a real quantum leap. And it's happening because you're showing up for yourself in small ways consistently. Let's shift gears a little bit and go into the divine feminine wisdom, because I love just tapping into that a little bit more. One of the things that has really lived within me as an immigrant to this country, and also my parents were also immigrants, but I don't see it as much in this generation. But we, like I said earlier, we have been taught to do more, to produce, to hustle, to always be achieving, to always be exceeding and doing something. And a lot of us can even sit still and not feel guilty for sitting down or taking a day off and not doing anything. And this is why I believe learning and tuning into the energy of our feminine side, especially as women, even though this is not a female or male thing, is just like a way of being. There's so much power in the stillness. There's so much power in our intuition and the power of allowing and living intentionally through the lens of the divine feminine. And what does that mean? It means that you can listen before you act. It means that you don't have to always have an opinion, always speak, always be, exerting energy outward. It means that you can listen to the wisdom of your body and tune into what it needs. Our body is always communicating with us. There's always something your body is letting you know if it's out of balance. You start to learn that rest is productive and that this is why practices like meditation and connecting with nature are so nourishing for our soul. Rest is productive because you get new ideas. You have a fresh perspective on things. You're able to problem solve when you are resting, when you're allowing. I mean, if we're always constantly doing and achieving, how do we listen to our intuition? This is why meditation is so powerful, because it is in those moments where your mind is not processing what you're thinking that you're allowing information to enter into your mind that sometimes you weren't even aware existed. If you are more interested in exploring your feminine side more deeply, I actually created a womb awakening meditation. You can check it out on our Sweet Souls Mindfulness channel. It's really designed to reconnect you with your body's innate wisdom and creative power. I'm going to leave the links for you guys in the show notes if you're interested. Our next step is redesigning our environment for our future self, for the future you. Your environment is shaping you more than you realize. Every space that you spend time in, your home, your office, and even your car, holds a special energy. I have really become a very neat and organized person. I've always been that way since I was little. I was always like rearranging my room, and always like I just know how to hook up my space and really make it mine. And like that's always been a really big passion of mine, is just decorating my space and my temple. And like the where I dwell has such a big impact on who I am. And so lately I have been even more I don't know what the word is, but just more strict. Not even strict. I'm just like, I want things clean. I just need a clean environment. I need things organized. And I noticed that my son Isaac is picking up on those habits as well, because I just taught him how to fold his t-shirts, like what is that? KonMari? I forgot her name. But a very neat way. And I showed him, this is how you fold it. And I folded a few, and then he did the rest, and he saw how neat and organized his drawer of t-shirts now looks, and he's like, he loves it. He loves a clean environment also. And now I see my husband doing the same thing with the car. Like, our car is where we spend a lot of time. And so now, like, there's a bigger standard, a higher standard to our living environment, especially because we live in a very run-down house at the current moment, our rental property. And so for me, I think that's why I became so much more like specific and more just, I don't want to use the word anal because I don't like that word, but just more like the house needs to be clean and everything needs to be folded properly and organized, because this is where I dwell and that's what I can control. Everything around us holds energy, and that energy is either supporting your growth or it's keeping you tied to the vision that you are trying to outgrow. The same thing with our clothing. We have to let go of things that don't reflect who we are in this stage of our life. And this is also why so many people struggle to break old habits, is because they're trying to become a new version of themselves while living in a space that is constantly reminding them of their past, or wearing things that don't reflect who we are anymore. So I invite you to ask yourself right now, what in my space reflects an outdated version of me? Is it the clutter that represents decisions that you are avoiding, clothes that no longer align with how you want to feel in them, objects tied to relationships or situations that no longer serve you? What in your space is making you feel stagnant and heavy? And sometimes it's not even about the clutter, it's also about the emotional charge that these items carry. Now ask, what can I change today to represent the woman I am becoming? Start small, but make it symbolic. Create a dedicated space for your morning practice. Even if it's just a small little corner with a candle, a journal, something that has meaning for you, or a flower that reminds you of your intentions. Or maybe when you drink your coffee, instead of drinking it from an ugly cup, you buy yourself a cup that really just represents who you are. So when you're drinking it, it becomes more of a ritual. It becomes a representation of your future self. A vision board is something that I love doing, and especially now with the AI technology, you can quite literally get images of you doing the things that your future self is doing. And when I mean future self, the you of now, right? Because that's what we're embodying. We're doing it at this current moment. This is the only moment that exists. And so if you go to ChatGPT, there is this incredible platform called Sora. Now you can create videos with it, or you can just tell it a prompt and upload some photos of yourself and get very detailed with the prompt, and it will give you images of the life that you want to live. The house, I mean, everything. It's just astonishing. It's amazing. I've been so obsessed with using Sora for this past week. And it's also giving me inspiration for like how I want my future to look like and how I want my business, Sweet Soul, to evolve, and what is the mission. It's giving me so much clarity, guys. And I know like there's always all these comments that, and I feel like I always bring it up because it's such a big part of who I am, but there's always these comments like, you don't get a lot of views. Girl, no, it's not about the views. It's about being true to the mission, right? Being true to the mission. And for me, I have a clear vision of what I want to achieve. And while a lot of external things are not reflecting that mission, I know that all the little seeds that I'm planting are going to flourish one day. And so it's giving me so much inner peace as a content creator to have that state of mind instead of focusing on the external metrics and all of those things. All of that comes with it within its due timing. And I'm also in a new field. So I am planting so many new seeds, but I am so, like I said today, on fire and aligned. And I am patient. I am trusting the Lord and surrendering my whole life to the Lord. Every little piece of my life, I'm like, I surrender it to you. It all makes sense. No matter things that might look like they're going down, like God, you're in control. I surrender it. I'm just going to show up consistently with my clear vision. And it's allowed me also to not be tying my energy into so many different things, because I was trying to juggle so many things at once and nothing was flourishing. So now with this clear vision, I see it, and I'm enjoying the journey. So moving back to our little rituals, as you let it go, I want you to say it out loud. I release what no longer supports who I am now. Remember, it's not about having a perfectly curated Pinterest-worthy space. It's not about that at all, even though I love curating my house like that. It's about creating an environment that nudges you gently every single day back towards the vision of yourself that you know is there, that you know is possible. So let's go deeper into why these rituals actually work, right? Why we're actually doing these things, why we need to be doing them. Neuroscience has proven that neurons that fire together wire together. What does that mean? The best way that I understood this is, think about that time when you're studying something and a week later you forgot what you were studying. If you didn't repeat it long enough, you didn't form a connection, a pathway from each neuron to connect. So when we are repeating things, we're actually taking these little pathways and binding them together. Right? So this is what learning does. You bind them together, and that's why you can remember things. That's why repetition is important. The more that we repeat something, the stronger the hold and the pathway becomes. Now, if you learn something and you can't recall it a week later because you didn't repeat that information, they actually start to dwindle and fall apart. They fray, right? So now that you don't have this connection, you no longer have that memory. And it's the same thing with our thoughts and our behaviors and our emotions. And this is what ritual does. The rituals that we're doing are creating a strong connection in our brain. It's creating a new default way of how we see ourselves. If we're constantly telling ourselves that we are not worthy, we are not good enough, that's what we're going to believe. And it blows my mind because as a young girl, as a young kid, and as a young adult, I used to say so many negative things to myself all the time, and I believed them. And now that I feel completely different about myself because I speak to myself in a very high regard, I don't believe those things, and it blows my mind how my mind shift, how I actually change the way that I see myself, right? And it's the same thing. It's what we're telling ourselves. It's so important for us to be so aware of what we're telling ourselves and stop being your biggest enemy. And here's the empowering part. Our brain is neuroplasticity, right? Which means that we can shape and we can mold it to whatever we want simply by introducing new thoughts, new emotions, paired with repetition and a feeling. So think of these rituals not as small, insignificant moments, but as a powerful rewiring that is happening, a powerful rewiring practice that is helping you build the identity of the woman you are becoming. The first few moments after waking up are the most fertile grounds for actually creating lasting change because we're in a very highly suggestible state. Our brain is moving from theta brainwaves into alpha, right? So we can suggest a lot of things in this state of being. So instead of reaching for your phone and letting the outside world hijack your mind, place a hand over your heart and another one in your womb space as soon as you wake up. I want you to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I want you to ask yourself, how do I feel today? Calm, empowered, joyful. Visualize a moment from your future life where you are living exactly as you are. And this is why I love having a vision board, because I can visualize it. I want you to feel it in your body as it's already happening. Get excited. Oh my God, this is happening. This is my house, so on and so forth. This is the emotional rehearsal, and it begins to condition your nervous system to believe in new possibilities before they actually come into your reality. Having a midday reset is also important because that's when we kind of start to get into our to-do list. So just by checking with yourself midday and just bringing awareness to the moments that you're slipping back into these old patterns of stress, of feeling overwhelmed, of doubting, right? And I don't want you to beat yourself up for it. I just want you to bring awareness and shift into gratitude. That's the only thing you got to focus on, is shift into gratitude in those moments where you're not feeling those beautiful sensations in your bodies, right? In your body. Shift into gratitude and acknowledge what you're feeling. Ask your body, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Why am I feeling overwhelmed or stressed out? What is happening? Acknowledge it, because it's real, it's happening. But also acknowledge it and shift into awareness and gratitude. And this is so powerful because this is where we're creating those pathways in our brain, and they eventually become the new state, your default state. Now, if you have a journal and you're listening to this, I would love if you can pull it out, or you can pause or just read the show notes. I'll have the journal prompts in there and a little treat at the end that I'll mention. But journaling is a really powerful way to integrate everything that is shaping who we are. If I were already living as the woman I'm becoming, how would I think, feel, and act today? I want you to write out the response in the comment section if you are feeling called to share, or in your journal, of course. And of course, I want to share some divine feminine practices with you guys, just to make life a little bit more sacred and special, because it is. So if you want to integrate more divine feminine energy into your daily rituals, here are just some thought starters. Again, rituals are all about things that resonate with you. Moon rituals. Love moon rituals. Just connecting with nature and all the elements and all the beautiful things that God created. Is just such a magical thing. Now, new moons are a very powerful time for us to set intentions. And full moons are perfect for releasing what no longer serves us, right? It's the culmination of all the little seeds that we planted in the new moon. So, having a little time with yourself and setting intentions in the new moon and also releasing things in a full moon is just a symbolic way for us to just be in tune with nature, to be in tune with ourselves, and start to live more intentional with our life. Now, for women who have a womb, your womb is not just a physical organ. It's an energetic portal of creation and intuition. It's the gateway where our children come in through this world, from the soul world into the physical world. We women have the ability to do that. And I feel like it's so important for us to honor that. And so placing a hand in our womb, just being more in tune with ourselves and the beautiful power of creation that we hold in our womb is such a powerful way to just connect with your divine self, right? You can also take a barefoot walk outside in nature, ground yourself, connect with the energy of planet Earth. One of my favorite rituals that I do on my morning walk that I want to share with you guys, just to kind of connect more to nature itself, is when I envision myself breathing in oxygen and then I exhale CO2. And as we know, trees create oxygen and they need CO2 to thrive and survive. So it's this circle of life, this giving and receiving that we're constantly in flow with when it comes to trees. And so just being in that state of mind where you're inhaling and feeling the gratitude for these trees because you're able to live is so beautiful. And then giving a gift of CO2 to the tree so they can thrive. And it's this beautiful, just grounding ritual that I love to do on my walks and just taking deep breaths in, you know? So before you go, I want you to take a moment and download the free intentional life journal worksheet. It's filled with prompts and practices that I featured in today's episode and a little bit more. You can find it in the link in the show notes and description bar, or you can find it also at DulceCandy on Instagram. And if you want to go a little bit deeper and reconnecting with your feminine energy, remember to check out the womb activating meditation that I am featuring in our Sweet Soul Mindfulness channel. Remember that you are so much more powerful than you've ever been taught to believe, and it's time that you start living like it.